Okay, are we live? I think we are live on Sports Today on the eve of the Boxing Day Test match, the one that we had been waiting for so long. In the middle, the gap was so big that we had to talk about everything that was away from the field, but hopefully we can get back to things on the field. But before that, Rahul, have you slept well or you still hungover with that 83 film that we saw last night? Did you have a couple they've come in your dreams, smashing those sixes, taking those wickets?
A lot of people I've spoken to, they are all they've either seen the movie or
Hmm.
because we managed to get some first-hand visuals of the real stars at the hall or the cinema hall where we went yesterday. So everybody has been calling me and asking me about the movie. So I suggested that just for the experience, you must go. Of course, for us, I thought we were privileged enough to go there and watch that movie alongside the real and the real stars. Of course, Kapil Dev, the great Kapil Dev was there, Ranveer Singh was there. You also managed to get quite a lot of visuals there, but it was fun.
Yeah, it was. It was fun, and I'm hoping that the test series that follows is going to be a lot of fun. But what was not fun was the two press conferences
Virat.
that we had before the test matches. Both have been a bit cold, in the sense very dry, very run of the mill answers. Nothing dramatic, nothing that we learnt in these two press conferences, barring a few hints here and there that we're going to play maybe again that is a hint, not a surety that we'll play five fast bowlers. Then Rahul Dravid came on the eve of the game. He was also asked about the playing 11, who would be the wicket keeper, this and that. And he said, "Well, even if I've decided, why should I tell you? Why should we tell the other team what we've decided?" So I think we'll get to know the team on the day of the game. But I think all in all, I the one takeaway from me, and you also chip in with your takeaway. One takeaway was that because so many questions were asked of Rahul Dravid about which player will be rested, because there's this selection conundrum that will follow, as in who will sit out. There were questions asked about Cheteshwar Pujara's form, Ajinkya Rahane's form. Which one is going to play? Ishan Sharma, some senior players, how will you ask them to sit out?
Right.
And on and on, he said that, conversations you're supposed to have. And for the best interest of the team, you're going to go in with the player that you have to. So, one thing it seemed clear is that whatever conversations that were to be had have already been had. Players have been told what their role is going to be in the series. So, in that sense, felt like that the team has a roadmap. Whether it is successful or not, we'll find out. But at least that roadmap is there.
That's right. And Rahul Dravid, when he was asked about whether Rishabh Pant would be in the 11 or Riddhiman Saha, he said the 11. He said we know what our 11 is, and we're going to field that 11 tomorrow. We don't want the opposition to know about our 11. Usually, what happens is players or anybody who's attending the press conference, or whoever is coming to brief the media, would say, we go still in discussion and all these things. At least Rahul Dravid has made it clear. We know it. We just want to keep our cards close to our chest, because we've seen what has happened in the past. World Test Championship final, you would remember, they had declared that their India had declared their 11, and uh, it rained the entire day. And in the recent past also, it has happened.
But that was
Uh,
foolish. Don't you think? That was foolish. I mean, it rained. You could have easily changed it also. You didn't have to
you
be
could have
stuck with that.
changed. That's what I'm saying. You could have changed. There's nothing wrong. The Ashes, the Boxing Day test for the Ashes is also going to start tomorrow. They've also announced their 11, but that's not cast in stone, that you can't change your 11. But here, one thing. And Rahul was also asked about the appointment, if he had a say in the
Yeah.
appointment of India's white ball captain. And very maturely, and in an experienced way, he just showed a dead bat. He said that these are internal discussions. I i don't think that I need to go public and announce and discuss that in front of the media. So these are
But
the
that was
two things.
expected, isn't it? I mean, just knowing Rahul Dravid, the character that he's been, and I covered a lot of him while he was captain. You never got anything
Right.
out of him, no matter what controversy, and there were a few during his captaincy as
Right.
well.
That's
In
right.
Pakistan, that famous
Multan.
194 Sachin. Yeah, never gave away anything. So, I mean, of course, full marks to journalists like us, our fellow colleagues, whichever organization they may be working in. We are from the same clan. So, full marks to them for trying. But you always knew, I think even those guys knew back of their mind that at the end of the day, full proper defense you will get from Dravid.
That's right. That's right. In fact, he was first up. He was asked about Rahane. He said that he's been training and practicing really, really hard and well. But then also he was asked if what sort of discussions you've had with Rahane. He said Rahane is doing really well. He's been practicing very hard. He's motivated and everything. And as far as the discussions are concerned, I'm having similar kind of discussions with other players also. So it's not that I'm giving special importance to Ajinkya Rahane. So and also with Dravid coming in, you also ask a lot about mental issues, how mentally you are prepared, and all these things. But I think
which he had a very funny
issue,
reply, by the way, when they were said
yes,
that you're
I hope
helping
I
him
don't
mentally.
mess up with
I
their
don't mess him up mentally, he said. I hope I have
mental
not done
space,
that.
right? That's right. That's right. But I think the question is the big question. As of now, on the eve of that test match, or even hours before that test match, would be the 11 that India is going to field. Because in the recent past, India has done well overseas, and the template has been 5 bowlers. So is
So
this
tell me
Indian
what
team?
you go ahead with your playing 11. On social media, everyone has come out with their playing 11. Let's have Rahul's playing 11, then followed by Nikhil's playing 11.
So, Nikhil, one thing, I don't know the conditions, but whatever we've heard that it's been
Yeah.
raining there in the evening. It's been raining. So I I honestly believe that India might just go in with 5 bowler theory. That's and nothing wrong with it. It's just that the confidence in the middle order. Do they have the confidence that they can go in with 5 bowlers and 6 batsmen? So that's one question. And the second question is the conditions. Maybe looking at the conditions, they might be tempted to go in with just 4 bowlers and strengthen their batting. And in that case,
Sure.
they have to see whether to go in with Hanuma Vihari or with
No, you tell me.
Ajinkya
You
Rahane.
tell me you're playing 11, assuming that the what conditions you will get will be typical South African conditions. Okay, typical seam bowling South African condition. If you had to pick your 11, and I'm sure we are going to get a lot of comments. We're already getting a lot of comments when it comes to all of the people who are joining us. Their 11. You go ahead with your 11.
My
No
11
ambiguity.
would be
Stick your neck out.
okay. My 11 would be Mayank Agarwal opening with KL Rahul, your vice captain, Chiteshwar Pujara, Virat Kohli, Shreyas Iyer. Sixth, I might go in with Hanuma Vihari. Rishabh Pant would come into bat at number 7. Then Ashwin, Siraj, Bumrah, and Shami. That's my 11.
So you've gone with Siraj, Shami, and Bumrah. That means
Although
that.
with this 11, I won't be surprised if they go in with Shardul Thakur in place of Ashwin.
Oh, okay. But you've picked Ashwin, but you think the team can also go in with a Shardul, and so no place.
Because
Once again,
physically, I'm not.
Ashwin will be thinking once again, no matter what
See,
happens, 4 bowlers, 5 bowlers, I'm always in the bench.
physically we are not there in Centurion, so I'm not much aware of the conditions, and the forecast is that for the next couple of days, or maybe 2 to 3 days, it's going
Yeah.
to rain. So there might be some the wicket might be damp early morning, so they might want to make use of that wicket with their fast bowlers. So in that case, Ashwin, as you said, might feel they might be tempted to go in with fast bowlers, and if they don't want to drop Ashwin, then they would go with their tried and tested template, which is to go in with 5 bowlers, and then just put in into your batting lineup, batting at number 6, with Rishabh Pant, of course, batting at number 6.
Okay, forget what they do. You have gone in with 4 bowlers, and one of that is Ravichandran Ashwin, and the first 11 that you have picked. Okay, my 11. Even though you have not asked me, I'm still going ahead with my 11,
No,
which
no,
is No,
You have
I will. So again, I can't disagree on the openers. I don't think anyone will. KL Rahul and Mayank
because you don't
Agarwal.
have a third opener. You can't
Yeah, no, we
disagree.
have.
Priyank Panchal is there.
Yeah, Priyank is there. Priyank is there. But okay, be warned, huh? Be warned. This is only for the first test match. If you
Right.
lose one or two test match, you may not even go to Priyank. You may just push Cheteshwar also to open. This as also the Indian team
To
has
open.
done it.
Why not Hanuma Vihari?
We've done. Oh, he maybe he was asked in Australia to do it.
Exactly.
He could be asked to do
Exactly.
again. Just so, but that happens when things don't go your way. Then you go to Plan B, Plan C, whatever, Plan D, E, whatever you go to.
But you
So,
think
but,
you would be you
yeah.
you would make that change so early with the Dravid
No,
at the
no,
helm?
you would have to if the series is on the line. I'm guessing. Okay, assuming let's say you lose the first test match, second is drawn. Third test match you want to win or whatever the condition, or even if you lose the second, third, you want to have some face saving. Never know. Won't happen instantly,
Right.
but you are also going to look at series by series and what becomes so crucial. We've seen it; it's happened in the past. So also I'm a huge fan of Rahul Dravid, but that is not to say that he'll be very permanent in the thought. Also, things keep evolving. We've seen Rahul being the coach of Delhi as well as Rajasthan. Of course, it's a completely different format, but we've seen changes there also. And I'm also going to go
Mm,
back to the New Zealand series in that sense. That recently concluded
right.
New Zealand series, where if you had faith in older players, I was of the opinion you should have stuck with an Ajinkya
Rahane.
Rahane. Yeah, even if Shreyas did well, conventional, that old school thinking or that Australian style of thinking would have been no. Let's stick with Ajinkya Rahane. We are that sort of team that has faith, and we're going to give him a long run experience. And when Virat comes back, he stays. But that didn't happen. So anything can happen going forward. But for the first Test match, I don't think there will be any panic mode. There won't be anything. So your two openers are a given. Cheteshwar, no matter how many questions were asked of his form, those questions may still arise going into second, third test match if he doesn't get run. But for the start, you are going to have him as your number 3, Virat Kohli at number 4.
Fair
Now,
enough.
Shreyas, you can't drop him, after the form that he's shown. So he's at number 5. And I think they
Mm-hmm.
will have Pant at 6. Have faith in Rishabh Pant to get you runs. That's why Shardul Thakur comes into my team and Ravichandran Ashwin. So these are your 3 guys you will like that lower middle order that you will think will get you a lot of runs. You will have to have faith. And then also I think 5 bowlers, why I'm saying to manage the workload, this is something that KL also mentioned, to manage the workload. And I'm looking at some scenario which has happened with the Indian team in the past. A fast bowler on day 1 of the test match pulls a hamstring. Just
Yeah.
assume they're coming off a
Mm-hmm.
bit cold. You're left with just 3 bowlers, and in which out of that one could just be a spinner if you're going in with those 4 bowlers. So effectively 2 fast bowlers to share the workload for 2 innings, maybe very very tough. So I think 5 bowlers is something they may go in with, and hoping that their middle order does the job, lower middle order does the job. And my fast bowlers are Siraj, Bumrah, Shami, and Shardul Thakur because of his batting ability. But tough
Fair
it will
enough.
be to again, this is a question asked in the press conference, Rahul. I thought very interesting question. Ishan Sharma, the senior most bowler, to even tell him that now you are out of that pecking order. We are playing 4 bowlers, but you're not even in part of that 4. Would be a tough conversation.
Well, that's right. And but I think Ishant would also understand, although it's very difficult for any cricketer to understand that I don't belong there anymore. It's very, very difficult for any cricketer, and especially somebody who's played over 100 test matches. And with the conditions on offer, he would definitely fancy his chances of doing well, not just playing, of doing well. But then you'll also have to see uh, uh, he will be a replacement to somebody like Mohammad Siraj, Mohammad Shami, or Jasprit Bumrah. Is he as good a bowler or better than them? Better than any of them? He might be on a given day. He might be on maybe some years ago. But these are up and coming.
Also,
These are
it's tough.
Shami.
Yeah. Also, Rahul, it's tough sometimes. For us, see, we are giving you a third point of view, and all the viewers also who are part of our family who join us. Also, we've got a outside view, so we can be very objective. This one is in form, this one is not. But sometimes, me as a person may not see it that way. So I'm just trying to think from Ishan's point of view. He may not see it that way. He may still think, no, maybe I am Yes,
Exactly.
Jasprit is
That's what
doing
I'm
well,
saying.
but I
Yes,
think I'm the best.
absolutely.
I'm in the top 2 or top 3.
Yes. He would say, यार मैंने 100 टेस्ट मैचेस ऐसे ही खेल लिए हैं, आप मुझे बाहर बैठा
Exactly.
रहे हो. You are playing 4 fast bowlers as you only mentioned, and it's absolutely right. It would be very, very difficult to make somebody like Ishan to understand. Ajinkya Rahane, you said the Australian mentality would have been to give Ajinkya Rahane that test match. But Nikhil, the only point is Ajinkya Rahane has already been given a very, very long rope. He's not been performing. See, we've been discussing this might be the end of the road for Ajinkya Rahane now, but he's been given series after series. Although it would be very unfortunate to see somebody like Ajinkya Rahane who's performed incredibly well. He's one of the very, very, very few cricketers or
Sure.
batsmen in this country, alongside somebody like Rahul Dravid, who has a better overseas average than home average. Ajinkya Rahane has a better overseas average whenever
Correct.
he's got more runs and with a better average overseas. So there's your somebody who was your vice captain, or rather the captain in the last series, will have to sit out. So that's
Sure.
also, and every time,
Hmm.
yeah. Please, please.
No, I'm saying, I was just saying that, sure, I mean, I agree with you, but I think that conversation needs to happen, or unless it's happened and you and me are not privy to it, where you tell him that you've gone out the pecking order. Why I raised that question of the New Zealand tour is that he played that first test match, and I'm guessing because Shreyas only played because Virat wasn't there. That was the start of
That's
that
right.
series. So give a person that one series, 2 test match series. Maybe that conversation was had with him, that these are your last 2 chances or whatever. Even now, I'm saying, even now when you're going to have Ajinkya there, maybe if he's not playing, you already told him that he's fallen down the pecking order. Fair enough. Unless you've told him, no, you're still one of our guys and you're going to play, and for all you know that he plays that test match. Even now, maybe in different conditions, we are saying Shreyas Iyer, but maybe the team management thinks that, listen, no, that was a home series. Here we need some experience. Ajinkya has experience of
Right.
playing in South Africa. Let's go with an Ajinkya. But if they were to go with him, at least all I'm saying is, don't say, okay, this is one test match. Do get runs or out. You give him 2 or 3 test matches, then have faith in that. If he doesn't get those 2 test
Right.
matches, then third test match you bring in Shreyas. I don't think it's going to be unfair on Shreyas, and I think Shreyas will also understand that I will get that chance. I'm the next guy in line, but let that
Eventually.
guy who's
Yes.
there give him that whenever it is. Maybe 2 test matches, and then say, okay, done and dusted. We gave you these 2 more chances. Now go back, work on your game, and then come. In the meanwhile, Shreyas is playing.
And Nikhil, I'll be very honest. Tomorrow, if Rahane plays, I won't be surprised, and I would
Yeah.
rather appreciate. If I'm the captain of this team, I will definitely have that inclination and temptation to have Rahane in my 11. I will have that temptation because of his not just overseas record, because of his record in South Africa.
Yeah.
I will have that temptation. I will have that experience. I think. With Rahane, it's not the issue is not technical. Now it is a mental issue with Ajinkya Rahane, as has always been the case with Ajinkya Rahane. That's what I feel. Um, so even if they play Rahane tomorrow, I won't mind. But the only problem is the criticism. What if? What if Ajinkya Rahane doesn't do well? You know, people will definitely question and criticize the decision. And what if Rahane doesn't do well and then Indian team loses this match? You need to start well because every time you started well in an overseas tour, you've done well. That's one of the reasons why the Indian team has done
Yeah.
well in the recent past. But one player we're not talking about, Nikhil, you haven't even mentioned his name. The last time you mentioned his name was yesterday when you informed us that Virat Kohli is not coming for the press conference.
No, I mentioned his name when I made my 11. Yeah, you forgot. When I was making my 11, I did mention his name right now in the show.
Yes.
But yeah, we haven't discussed that. I agree. It's going to be a make or break series for Virat Kohli, the batsman, I think, more than his captaincy. He's not come for the press conference. Now, this could be looked at in multiple ways. One could be that he addressed the media before leaving, and Rahul Dravid wasn't there in that press conference, the coach, which is customary in that departure press conference. So maybe he thought that let's listen into Rahul Dravid, or maybe BCCI or the media management or whatever thought, let's listen. That could be one reason. Or second could be, he preempted it. He's played enough cricket to understand that after that explosive press conference last time, now when he comes again, 10 questions, no one is going to ask much about that test match. There will be 10 questions. And he thought that why get distracted, ahead of this important first test match that I'm playing. So or maybe for all you know, Rahul, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong. For all you know, Rahul Dravid could have been the guy who would have said, no, I'll come. He's also played
Yes.
enough behind it. He may have said, no, I'll go for this presser. I want my captain fully focused. Let him focus on the cricket.
True.
I'll take all the questions, which he did. And all the questions that Virat has to answer after the test match would be a better opportunity. I don't know. What do you think?
That's right. And nothing wrong with that. He would also want his captain to be in a right frame of mind just before the start of a very important tour and a series, because this we are all calling it a final frontier for India, and we know why. Because this is a place where India has never won a test series. We came close in 2010. In fact, Rahul Dravid himself hasn't done too well in South Africa. So even he would want to start an overseas tour as the head coach of this team with a victory. That's going to be tough, as he also mentioned. Dean Elgar, I was listening to his presser. He said that India is a very good team. They have the experience in their bowling lineup, but yes, since we are the home team, it does give us a slight edge and advantage. But I think a lot will also depend on the toss. If I'm not wrong, Centurion Test last time 2018, Virat got 100 here in Centurion, right? 130 odd runs he scored. So pretty good memories for Virat also.
And one thing in the press conference Rahul mentioned, we all know about it, but he said that he was asked about that no practice game. He said yes, that would have made a difference, practice game. But he said things are the way they are. I think in this bio bubble world, maybe there's not too much time, so we couldn't. And also what he mentioned is that in the first 2-3 days of practice only in Centurion, in those practice pitches, the batsmen realized that these are completely alien conditions. So you may hear about it, you can talk about it, and some of the players who've played also says you've played that, but then again you play so many other places. When you come back, you don't have that recollection. Suddenly you say, yeah, these are really different conditions. So he said in practice, the batsmen realized. So the challenge is going to be a lot. We keep saying that this is a weak South African team or the bowling. Of course, he was asked about that bowling, South African bowling a bit casual. He said it's not casual by any stretch of the imagination. Yes, they are less experienced than the Indian bowling. I will agree, Rahul Dravid said. Very valid point, I thought. But he said, in terms of potency, these conditions, they know how to play. So yeah, I mean that challenge is going to be tough on the team.
Exactly. We've been comparing our batting with South Africa's batting, but and of course, with the kind of experience that we've had, they are not going there for the first time. Majority of these batsmen have played in South Africa. Where I feel we might have an edge over South Africa would be the tail. They have a longish tail. They perhaps would have a bigger tail than the Indians this time. You don't have somebody like
let me just go. I think Quinton. I know Quinton is going to miss the test matches. So just to look at the team, Quinton bat at 6. If he does, then they're going to have that fast bowling all rounder at number 7. So they will have batting with 7. Rabada can bat, decent, batsman. He can stay on. So I think till about 8 is okay. If you look at that batting, 8. But then Lungi may not be the best batsman that they have. Dwayne Oliver also not a great batsman. I'm not too aware of his batting record. So yeah, till 8, okay.
So after Quinton de Kock, I don't know if they are going to play Keshav Maharaj or not. They might just go in with an all-pace attack. But most likely, they might also include Keshav Maharaj.
Then the batting becomes good.
That's what
batting becomes good.
So in case they don't have Keshav Maharaj in their 11, I feel, Rabada, we know that he can bat, but he's not a batsman like somebody like Shardul Thakur or maybe even Ravichandran Ashwin for that matter. So, and traditionally, I don't know if you would accept or admit that, but we've been found wanting against whenever we've traveled. The tail usually has troubled the Indians. So this time, maybe you might here you have an edge. You have a clear edge.
I agree. The other thing, which I must speak to our viewers and tell them, is that the conditions in Centurion, and this is something that no one's spoken about. I was reading a few former fast bowlers saying that you keep talking about, good bounce and it's going to trouble, but it's going to be that spongy bounce, which is not, the ball's not really going to come. So that is also a bit weird that Indian batsmen will struggle against. It said that actually it gets quicker as the test match goes on. So with the heat coming in on the pitch, it gets baked, and the summers there are very, very hot. My experience in South Africa, hot summer. Then so maybe sometime the first innings and all is not that tough, even if it's rainy condition, maybe slightly easier. As the test match progresses, the bounce will keep increasing. Then it may get tougher for the Indian team. And what Rahul Dravid mentioned, the biggest challenge, he said, is sometimes getting used to the condition. It takes Indian team 2 to 3 test matches to get used to it. So by the time they come into the groove, the test series is over. So there's no time for complacency. You got to hurry up and get back into form. But going back to Virat Kohli, what do you think? What, 2 years, no 100, is Centurion, good memories. South Africa, good memories. I think he averages 55 in the 5 test matches that he's played here. 2 centuries in South Africa. If there is a place that he would be wanting to be right now, as to look back at those previous memories and draw inspiration from them, he's there. He's in the right place at least.
Somebody had tagged us in a tweet. In fact, he had tagged both of us. That person actually was saying, because a lot is being said about whenever Virat is challenged, there's a conflict that Virat has to face. It motivates him, does this, does that, and it fuels his motivation. So and that gentleman, I'm so sorry, I'm forgetting his name. He said that you're playing for your country.
Raise
you
your
don't
hand
need
if
distractions
or on the chat. He can raise a hand and then maybe we'll know. You go ahead.
Exactly. So he said, he was just asking our viewpoint, that you're playing for your country, you're leading a test team, you're leading your country. You don't need these kind of conflicts to inspire you or motivate you. And Virat, as Rahul also mentioned today, Rahul Dravid.
No, but I'll tell you one thing. What happens, Rahul? I'm just the other point of view. So I don't think that Virat is not motivated while playing. Whenever he's playing, you and me both know, right? You just see him on the field, you see the intensity that he has. Right. So, every match is motivated. My point is, and I'm not giving just Virat Kohli's example, I'm just drawing some sort of experience from, whenever we played club matches, and are not just limited to cricket, but even if you played football or anything, you knew when your one club is playing the other one, there's certain players, they'll come, they'll be going about their business. Let's say you're playing a football match, right? He's going about his way, he's okay. And he's a bit lethargic. That's not to say he's not motivated. You do a bad foul on him and he gets angry, okay? And from there on, that player sometimes is very tough to control, because he's got that in his mind, okay, you're being harsh on me or tough on me. Now watch out. So I'm saying he's always motivated. Sometime when his something is questioned, commitment is questioned, or something is said, it just lights a fire, which is
the example that you've given is an on-field example. Here, I'm saying, just let's not confuse that desire to do well with a conflict, because that's a distraction. Here, he won't go out to say, I have to prove to somebody who's sitting outside and perhaps who's said something against me or for me or done something. See, it has happened in the past with him. He's gone to Australia. He's done so well there. Those were all on-field issues.
Okay, I'll give another example. You tell me. I'll give an example. I'll put you in and you try and explain. Let's say I'll give you we all work, and this will relate to everyone who's watching us, because we work in very different departments. But let's say you're working in office and you're a very good worker, very diligent worker. You come, do your job, and you do. So what I'm saying about your job is flawless. There's no issue with what you do, right? But someone raises a question that, he's doesn't have a good attitude, something, whatever, some question is raised about you, which is not related to your work, something on the side, which you think is wrong. Okay, you think it's alleged and it's wrong. Now that is a conflict. It'll disturb you a bit, because someone is raising questions which you think, while you continue. Sometimes, now there are two types of people. That now some people in a workplace, when that sort of commitment question comes, they get bogged down, they get upset, and they stop performing
Right.
to the level that they are. There are some who say, okay, I do my work well, but now you're fingering me from the outside, troubling me from the outside. You know what? I'm going to do even 10 times better now. So that will give you no opportunity. I'm just saying, so even if it's off the field, sometimes different people react differently. Maybe Virat is that sort of guy who reacts when,
Fair
when he's
enough.
misunderstood, or where some other things are said, some things are alleged which may not be true. I don't know. I'm just saying all of this from
No,
the outside.
fair. No, no, absolutely fair enough. I'm just saying, let's not put so much pressure and analyze it or dissect it so minutely that what would Virat be thinking at the moment as a captain? Perhaps he must be thinking to go out there, get some runs, and win this test match to start with, because possibly that can also be, it can be a distraction also. What people are saying, that it could be a motivation, it can be a distraction also. So
Sure.
the only motivation that Virat here has needs is that to win India's first ever series in South Africa, because there cannot be a bigger motivation, because Virat has thrived on these kind of situations. He's done what not a lot of captains previously have done. He won two test series or rather one series in Australia. Now perhaps this is the final frontier. He would end up as one of the greatest captains to have led India in test cricket whenever he's done with his captaincy. So Virat, the entire world would be eagerly watching Virat Kohli, irrespective of whether they are Virat's fan or not. Although I still believe that Virat does enjoy quite a good fan following, but even those people who would be supporting, were on the other side of the fence, um, even they would be watching. The entire world would be watching how Virat would react in this particular test match, and whether he says or not, he would be feeling a bit of heat. That's what I think. He
No,
would
no,
be under
sure,
some
sure.
pressure.
No, of course he will be. And I'm saying, even if this off-field distraction was not there, he would still be feeling pressure, because it's a dry run that he's not had, this long extended dry run of getting no 100
Yes,
for more than 2 years. So irrespective of anything, he would be feeling that heat. And also, as you mentioned, final frontier has to win. So, that's again an added pressure. You want to do well, you want to win here, because he has set such high standards of winning abroad. I'm sure he wants to fulfill that. So plenty of things. And I'm hoping that, people keep joining us, because it's going to be an exciting series. And we're going to be live on
that's right.
Sports Today all the time, And if you're a sport nut like me and Rahul, you join us in your conversation. Unfortunately, we couldn't take too many questions today. That's because both of us have dinner commitments. I'm going for a Christmas dinner. Are you also going? I have a very
Where?
big Christmas dinner at a friend's house. So, I'm looking forward to
Oh,
it. And
you would
see,
have been going to a restaurant. Ah,
you're going to, I'm in Christmas colors, red.
Devanand.
Red. Where is your red?
See, I'm home right now, and I still have time to get ready. So you are, the last time I saw somebody, either Devanand or maybe a Roger Moore. Roger Moore from
Oh,
James Bond.
you made my day.
Huh?
I'm a big fan of Devanand. Not as big as Vikrant is. I know he's a massive Devanand fan.
Exactly.
But I also had the
Yes.
pleasure of seeing the great man in person.
Huh.
Absolutely fantastic. Yeah. I met
Never.
him in a couple of events. Very gentle
Lucky you.
person. Yeah, and a legend. His film Guide is one of my favorites. It was so ahead of its time, even in those years. I mean, that's such an evolved
I think
story.
majority of his movies were ahead of its time,
True. Absolutely.
and
We can go on till the cows come home. So you better wear. You're also going to a Christmas dinner, or just like friends or whatever.
we will
Girlfriend,
transform it
whatever.
into a Christmas dinner.
Christmas. Okay.
Yeah,
Better wear
don't
some
go
red.
out. I heard Delhi NCR. You have night curfew over there in Noida as well.
Yeah, and in Haryana also. So I'm in UP. You're
Yes,
in
yes, in
Haryana.
Gurgaon also. So we
Yes.
can't go to any restaurant or
So
anywhere, because I
yeah,
believe it's they've reduced the capacity to 50%,
yeah.
and so we'll have to make do
So
with.
Delhi also that, or is Delhi has no curfew?
Yes. Delhi also, and the COVID cases are also rising
Also.
rapidly In fact, Gurgaon, it's a record number of cases. We've got around 48 cases. That's the
Oh God.
highest since June. So, in fact, all those people, yeah, do whatever you want to do, but also ensure that you follow all the safety protocols or the COVID protocols, and stay home if you can, because this is the time. Because the world over, it has already been declared and announced that the fourth wave either has arrived or is coming. So we can't make it we can't make it worse, and I don't want to see the situation that we were in, I believe in April, May.
Yeah. So stay at home. I have to anyway. I don't have a car. You know that, right? Both my cars are sealed. So
You have, oh, so you're taking bike?
no. I'm going to take a cab. Take my family in a cab. No other option.
Imagine you have two cars, still you can't drive.
Because of these green tribunal rules that don't allow diesel cars to be driven. Chalo,
Anyways,
on that note,
Nikhil and everybody, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Enjoy, and do subscribe Sports Today, because this is going to be an important series, and we're going to come back to you every session before and after the match. And I think Nikhil is hoping that we'll cross that 100,000 subscriber base by the time this 3-match test series ends.
On that note, bye.
All right, see you. Bye bye.